Good afternoon, y'all. I want to do a flip through video for this big vintage themed journal. The digitals that I used in this journal are, the majority of them are Louise Heinzel and TaylorMade journals. There is some Artie Mays in here too, and if there's anybody else, I will let you know when I run across it. I don't know if this is all going to fit in one video because she's chunky, y'all. She's got lots going on. So the cover, I actually don't remember exactly what the cover started out as. Feels like cardboard though. And then I know that I covered it with this lace, and then I painted it. This is several different colors of paint and some staining. Put a wide piece of lace over the spine, added this stitched ruffle, some more lace here. I wrapped this lace around with some cotton that I twisted, a little bit of gauze, this vintage rose and gold button. These buttons are also vintage. I will say also that the majority of the laces and trims that I use throughout are from Crafty Me shop. This was a piece of a curtain, just a sheer curtain that I ripped apart. But this trim, this lace, this was not. This is antique crocheted trim that one of my mamas gave me. This trim on the bottom. And I put an eyelet on the front and back, and that's how this journal closes. And I just tied this ribbon to keep it closed. The dangles mostly are hanging off of bulb pins or gourd pins or garment pins, whatever you want to call them. This is a yarn gauge for yarn size. There's a little gold button charm, and then I put a piece of a chain on here from a broken necklace. This dangle is a vintage earring. A fun little button here. A fun little bead. I altered some paper clips, made some paper clip dangles, added some beads to those. This is another piece of broken vintage jewelry. These beads came off of a beaded door curtain, if you know what I'm talking about. Very vintage. This is just an old earring. Another altered paper clip, and I just added a little extra button dangle at the bottom. And then this last one is just a little beaded wired charm that I made and added on. And I think that's all of them. So the cover image is from Louise Heinzel's digital collection that I used. And I used a button collection that she has. Like I said, I will list all that information below. There's lots of ruffles, and this was Crafty Me shop material, and I tore it in strips and zigzag stitched it and then glued it on. Here I made this little cluster using a teeny tiny envelope from Sacred Mementos, and I just put a strung button in it. Fits perfectly. Added a little flower and a flat back gem here. In this pocket, there's a journaling card This is one of TaylorMade Journal's lace papers on the back. This is coffee dyed paper. This is parchment paper that I folded up and then stitched. And in this pocket, there's a vintage button card with a vintage button, and I just tied some yarn trim to the top. There's a little teeny tiny tag. Some small ephemera, and a little journaling card that I made. And then I just did some stamping on some coffee dyed paper just to add some little note sheets in. If you see, this pocket here is vellum. It's embossed vellum, and it has butterflies embossed into it. Let's see if I take her out. This is that other journaling card. And all this stuff fits in here. Flip the page. Here's another journaling card. This is an image from Artie Mays. This is paper, brown paper bag back here, and a cluster of buttons on a nest of string. I stitched around this one. I clipped in another stamped coffee dyed paper with this cool little paper clip. I only have a few of those in this envelope that I made, and this card fits inside the envelope. There's another one of the vintage ladies. I put some vintage trim along the side here. This backing paper is piano roll paper. I used a piece of one of the kits to make a little pocket here, some washi tape in the center to reinforce, and then a pocket made out of vintage music paper. And then inside are just a few journaling cards. And this is the center of the signature. And then I made these little note cards with coffee dyed paper, and I stenciled them and then put a little vintage snap on them. These little snaps do come off, but it will leave a hole where the snap was. All the strings are tied in a knot and then tied in a bow and left long, so you can do as you wish with them. Another one of the vintage ladies, a die cut here. Someone sent me in a swap. I used it. Some of these pages are coffee dyed paper that has been gessoed. This has been gessoed. This has not been gessoed. Another altered CD envelope on this side. I took a vintage doily and put a piece of it back here and then inked it up real well. And then inside this pocket is another journaling card. And I left a lot of strings, guys. This with a piece of crocheted wide trim across the top, stitched on. Turn the page, and here's another piece of the button kit. A piece of vintage lace trim that I stitched with a zigzag. Made a ruffle. This is a canceled stamp. This one says Slovenia. I liked the colors. Another page from the kit. A pocket here I made from some rescued lace. I think this came off of a shirt. Another little vintage button here. And in this pocket is a floating pocket. Here's the pocket on the back. This is textured hand-pressed paper. I put a little flower here, layered some lace pieces from Crafty Me Shop. Put a flower here also from Crafty Me Shop. And then this has craft card glued to the back of this image to use as a journaling card. This also piano roll paper with the vintage look washi. And then here's one of the little envelopes. It says Vintage Market. I used TaylorMade Journal's Vintage Market stamp on these. And then in there is another journaling card from one of her kits with craft paper on the back. That goes in there. Another lace pocket here with a bookmark. This is botanical pressed paper. No, I'm sorry, this is recycled pressed paper. And just a little tassel added to the top. There is an eyelet there. Another stamped image on some coffee dyed paper to use as a note card. Okay, also in this pocket is a little round floating pocket. Whoops. And I just put a piece of Crafty Me Shop trim I cut a flower out of here, added a button to it, tied some strings on top of it. This is a little die cut piece, and also this was a die cut piece, and I cut these little flowers and added a gem to that. These back here I stamped these and then inked around them before layering this up. This also is some of that hand pressed paper, and then on the back is just coffee dyed paper. And then I have a glassine bag in here, and in that is another journaling card. She wants to hop everywhere. On this side, I used another specimen card from Artie Mays. Added a vintage button and a big nest there. I did paint all of these paper clips gold to go into this journal. This is a commercial tag that I just inked up and added some antique lace to the top of. And then this is a large stamp that I have, and then I just stamped a little butterfly in the center of it on some coffee dyed paper. Here's one of the brown paper bags that I played with gesso and coffee and inks. And I took these and put these in here to use as little pockets. And in here is a craft tag, a little die cut that I got out of a stencil set. I did add some stencils in here too. Beautiful piece of lace paper that I made into a little note card. Some craft here. This is modern trim. This is an applique from Crafty Me Shop. And I added a button here. I stitched a button on, and I made a hole here for this button so that this could be used as a closure. And this actually opens completely up. And then inside of here, there's a torn booklet. And this is coffee dyed paper, and then a coffee filter, more coffee dyed paper, and a coffee dyed paper doily. And then this is all held closed with this little button closure here. Another paper bag pocket. In here is a journaling card that I added some lace and crochet to. Here's one of the stencils that I included with the journal, because I didn't do stenciling and stamping on the pages. I felt like that in a journal this big, that's something that needed to be more personal. Some more gesso paper there. In this lace pocket, this was a butterfly die cut I got in a swap, and I just made a little booklet with it. Another journaling card here with one of Louise Heinzel's vintage images. And this was coffee stenciled paper. I made this paper 2 or 2.5 years ago. And I thought this piece would look really pretty in here. Another lace pocket here. A lot of stuff in this pocket. There's a wooden butterfly button here that I added some strings to for antennas. Put a little bit of string behind it. Here's another stamped image on coffee dyed paper. I included some botanical pressed papers. These are rose petals. A postcard from one of Lorna's kits. And then this, I just love the look of this page. This is also from one of Lorna's kits. These are from her Gothic kit, I believe. This page, another ruffle here. Where's that? Used a piece of that brown curtain again to make a pocket, and then put this piece of antique trim over the top, and as you can see, it's pretty tattered. It's a little bit fragile, but not, you know, falling apart. Another vintage button here. In this pocket, another journaling card, this one backed with coffee dyed paper. And then another one of the cards made from a brown paper sack. On this side, I put a pocket here made out of the brown paper. And here is an Artie Mays specimen card. I believe that she called them specimen cards. Butterfly specimen cards. And this is backed with coffee dyed paper as well. And I just put some of my Fun Fur eyelash trim and an eyelet up here at the top. And then I have some vintage photo corners that I found. So I added 2 little photo corners here. And I made a little booklet with some lightweight cardstock that was coffee dyed. And this piece came from Lorna's Gothic kit too, I think, and I just cut this frame out and put it on top, and so it fits right there. Another stamped image here, just on coffee dyed paper. This journaling card, some sari silk at the top, and another envelope. This journaling card here fits inside the envelope. I layered up some paper, made a pocket here, added a butterfly, another piece of Crafty Me shop fabric here. Whoops, a journaling card, and then another coffee dyed note card with the lace pages on the back and the little snap. That other side of that pocket on this side. This butterfly was from Crafty Me Shop. It was layered, and I took it apart because I wanted to use a button as the center, and then I added the strings to simulate the antennas. And in this pocket, also a journaling card. And then another just pretty page piece of ephemera that I liked from the Lorna's Gothic kit. Another ruffle here, another dangle, a lace pocket here, and in this pocket is a journaling card and a postcard that's been backed with coffee dyed paper. Love this postcard. And then another piece of lace paper that I inked up, it folded to be used as stationery. Another pocket on this side. Another commercial tag that I inked up, added some antique lace to. Another stamped image. This little notebook that I made out of some scraps that I had left. It just has coffee dyed paper in it. Another envelope. Excuse me. Another envelope that I stamped with the Vintage Market stamp from Lorna Taylor. And in this envelope is another little card. Another paper bag here. And then inside of this paper bag pocket is the other part of that stencil, which you could use it as a frame. It would make a really cute frame. Just if you stamped it with some script stamp. Anywho. And then one of my moms gave me some of these die cut envelopes, and they come with a piece of card in them. So I included this one in the gold tones. Some more modern trim. This doily is from Crafty Me Shop, and I did the same thing that I did with the other little booklet, except this time I just knotted some yarn through and used this variegated yarn as my closure. See? And then in here, again, coffee dyed paper, a coffee filter, coffee dyed paper, and a coffee dyed doily. And this is the center of the signature. And then she just ties back closed. I left the strings really long. I thought it was fun that that they were hanging out of the book, but you could cut them. Another stamped image here. Another stamped image here. And this is the paper clip that's holding all this stuff on. Don't know where I got those. It might have been a swap. It might have been something someone locally gave me. Another paper bag pocket here. And in here, another journaling card with some vintage trim. And another little lace coffee dyed note card. This page, I altered an envelope and put in this lace pocket. And in this altered envelope, there's a tag here, a tag here, a German vocabulary card, a little stamped image, and then in this part of the envelope, there is an altered flashcard. These are vintage. I can't remember what year, the 70s I think these are from, with some vintage trim, backed with coffee dyed paper, and I just used inks and stains and gesso and coffee and played with these one day. I have a whole stack. It was a lot of fun. So that goes in there. This page, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted a lace page. Check my camera. I hope we're good. So I wanted an entire lace page, and then I was like, well, what I'm gonna do with this lace page? Clip things onto it, clip things on for the new owner to make clusters or dangles or add their own things they might want to put in later. Add some of the little pieces of trims and laces and ribbons and appliques that I've been using throughout. So that's what I did, and these are held on with safety pins and bulb pins, and I just thought it would be a fun little cool addition, and a place to hold things that aren't paper. Another altered CD envelope here, this with some vintage doily glued and heavily stained, layered, and then this is an authentic stamp. And then just another journaling card in here. Another little pocket up here. The vintage button card, vintage button, and I just added some trim on here. And then there's also a little button journaling card. And then here, another paper bag pocket with a postcard. I actually cut this down. I made another little frame pocket with the vintage photo corners. These are the paper ones, by the way, not the metal ones. And put another German vocabulary card. This one means joy or make happy. And it fits right there. Another journaling card here. This one I pinned a metal button to, a little shank button, some trim. Another envelope here, some stamped images. Another one of the little booklets with a pocket and a pocket on this side with the piano roll paper in the back. Just a little piece of brown paper bag that I had left. I folded up and stuck in here for the next person to use if they'd like. Another little stamped booklet. And this side, there's a tag here with some paper raffia tied to the top. There's an eyelet there. Here I took a button card and I stapled on some die cuts. Now if these staples are removed carefully, all those die cuts, there's no holes in them because of the way that I stapled them down. And then here is another stamped image, another beautiful lady. This is an authentic piece of an envelope with an authentic stamp. Some little snaps I added to it, and I made it a little corner tuck and put a card in there. And here's the other side. Some more vintage lace trim that I ruffled up. This I just ruffled in the center and then let the ends stretch out. This another multi-pocket here made from a CD envelope. Put a card on one side, and on the other side it's a multi-pocket. This is the first card that I made. There's a shell button here with some different trims and eyelash trims and yarns. This image that I cut out and put on top of this brown paper bag. You can see where I stitched it. A stamped image here. This again, the parchment paper pocket with the embossed vellum butterfly paper here, and I added a little piece of music washi on the top of this one. I think it might have been brittle. A larger tag that I made from one of the pages from the kits. And that is the end of this journal, y'all. She's a big girl. I really am very, very, very happy with how she turned out. I really, really am. I will link as much information as I can below about the digital designers and the designs and kits and stuff that I used, and where you can find them. I appreciate you guys watching if you made it all the way through. I know it was a long one. Thank you for all the support, y'all. Have a good evening.